I hope everybody's doing well. Time is never fluent. Time is never fluent. Um, I want to talk about a video I just watched. I'm trying to take my channel into a new direction. Okay, there's a lot of reasons why. Okay, so just watched a video on um these hackers. Okay, anonymous. Now I heard of them before. I seen their masks before. Okay, they came across my feed before. Okay, the energy that I'm picking up from anonymous, okay, the hackers, is very, very, very interesting. Okay, the energy that I'm picking up from them, um, they've been around for quite some time. And there's something that they said that was very interesting in their video on TikTok. I just watched it on TikTok. They said that they're legions. Okay. Legions. Okay, so there's many of them, all right? I'm not going to go into depth of where I see them at energetically, okay? I'm just going to say what I'm getting from what they put out there, okay? And I want to say something and emphasize this on my channel, okay? Um a lot of people talk about they're chosen, right? But are you really chosen? Okay? What is your purpose? Do you know what your life purpose is? Okay? There's a reason why I'm saying this, okay? I'm not chosen, okay? I am just ancient. Let's put it like that, okay? And I will do more videos on that, okay? A lot of us are ancient souls, okay? That we don't remember the lives that we lived before on in Atlantis or many other places, okay? I'm going to do a video on that, okay? Somebody's watching me that is from the place of Atlantis, okay? I also had a life in Atlantis, okay? But I'm not going to talk about it in this video, okay? So, because I'm picking up somebody watching me that has Atlantean at one time was on the well, not planet, on the island, the place of Atlantis, okay? Atlantis was a beautiful place. I don't even know why I'm talking about Atlantis, but I'm talking about Atlantis. But I will do a single video on Atlantis, okay? So I'm watching the video on these hackers, okay? They obviously wear masks because they're hacking security systems, okay? National security systems, okay? They're getting information, they're putting it out there, okay? So they sent a message to Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Okay, they're saying that Elon Musk and Donald Trump rigged the election. Okay, and they have receipts. Okay, what I need the anonymous to do, the anonymous hackers. Somebody says Trump. Hold on, Trump and something. You guys, anonymous hackers. Okay, so they need to hack into our bank accounts. Hey, they need to hack into our bank accounts, put money in our bank accounts. Okay, they need to take away debt. They need to they need to do other stuff, okay? They need to drop Epstein's list, okay? I feel like they hacked into the Epstein list. Okay? And if they're watching my channel, anonymous, drop names, okay? um put money in people's accounts, okay, and other stuff, okay? Their energy is very interesting, okay? And when they talk about legions, when they say legions, it means many, okay? Many, many, many. Um Some people feel like it's make believe, okay? I'm not gonna okay. I'm not gonna say what I was getting energetically, okay? Some people think it's some AI generated system. Um, because what I'm pulling on is very interesting, okay? Um, and I'm not gonna say just right now if it's AI or if it's somebody be like, because I'm not getting AI. Okay, I'm not getting AI at all. Okay, I'm getting real people hacking systems. Okay, I'm not getting AI at all. Okay, could it be AI? It could be, because the energy with the AI and humans is very interesting because the AIs are taking on human energy. Okay, the AIs. Okay. So, anyways, they come on and they talk about how they're going to put out proof that the elections were rigged. Okay, all elections are rigged. Okay, so obviously, whoever's putting this information out, that they are not happy about this administration, about how the elections was handled, how the elections were counted for. Um, but I feel like they're going to put some information out on Elon and Donald Trump. And I also feel like I don't know why I'm being drawn to Ivanka. Okay. Now, Ivanka is very interesting. Ivanka Trump. Okay. Ivanka Trump I've been feeling her energy. Okay. She wants to come through. She wants to speak. Okay. I don't know if I'm ready to put Ivanka's video out, okay, to channel Ivanka, because Ivanka, they said she fell down the steps, allegedly. This video is for entertainment purposes and it's all fucking bullshit. They said Ivanka fell down, I guess some stairs, okay? That's not what I'm picking up, you guys, okay? And it's even interesting. I don't know if because she keeps trying to speak to me, okay? Ivanka, okay? Um Ivanka Trump, okay? She really was a beautiful soul, okay? A beautiful person. She was, okay? What we seen of Ivanka was truly Ivanka, okay? She wasn't hiding who she was, okay? I don't know why I'm talking about Ivanka and the hackers, okay? But Ivanka wants to come through, okay? I don't feel like Ivanka fell down those steps, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna have to do a video. I have so much content that I want to get out. I want to take my channel into a new direction. Okay, but maybe I might do a video on Ivanka. Okay, because Ivanka wants to talk. Okay, she's still around. Okay, she wants to tell her story. Now I'm seeing that she was cremated. Okay, but it's interesting because I'm seeing a cremation and I'm seeing a cremation. I don't know if she was cremated or she was buried. I don't know. Okay. If anybody knows, comment below. Okay. But I'm seeing like something placed in a casket. Okay. Now I'm confused here with Ivanka. Okay. But she keeps trying to come through, wanting to talk. She may have reached other psychics out here. I don't know if psychics have done reads on Ivanka, which that would be an interesting channeling Ivanka Trump and what really happened to Ivanka. Okay, because I don't see her falling down no stairs. Okay. Remember I said in a video, I'll never forget it. I was doing a video on Donald Trump and Ivanka was coming through again, okay, because she wants to tell her story. She's coming to psychics, okay. She wants people to tell her story. I don't know if anybody has done a read on Ivanka Trump, okay, but when I was doing the read on Donald Trump, I was being drawn to Ivanka, okay, and I don't know much about Ivanka. I watched a video on her, and she was the way she was like, and I'm talking about Anonymous. I don't know why I'm talking about Anonymous, and maybe there's a connection with Russia. I don't know. Or China. um, I don't know. Okay. But Ivanka is very interesting because I watched a video of her and she was so like open to her feelings. Okay. And then when you see her out, like people taking photos of her and stuff like that, people think, well, she was just snotty, rude. And Ivanka was a female. Okay. Ivanka. Melania, I don't know. Okay. Because Melania kind of looked like a male to me. Okay. Melania Trump. Okay. Because you know, a lot of these people are inverted. Okay. Um, some days she looks like a woman, and some days she looks like a man to me. Okay. Her energy. Okay. Um, and a lot of these people are inverted. Okay, very introverted. Um, not introverted, but they're like they swap sexes. Okay. I mean, they not swap, but they show up as another sex, like the Osbournes. Okay, the Osbournes family. Okay, I'm gonna go all over the place tonight. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about one thing. I'm gonna talk about a whole bunch of things. Okay, so the Osbournes. You guys know the Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne is a female. Okay, Ozzy Osbourne is a female. Okay, Ozzy's kids both transition to opposite sex. Okay. They're high up in the occult. Okay. Ozzy Osbourne was born into a cult family, and his children was born into a cult family. Okay. So Ozzy Osbourne is a female, and the wife, okay, the wife, okay, is a male. Okay. And then the two kids, I think one turned in did a transgender thing into a girl. The boy turned into a girl, and the girl turned into a boy. Okay, crazy. Okay, crazy, 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 crazy. I will put a picture up. I mean, when I see them all the time, I'm like, they got y'all food out here for real food. Okay, do you know how many people in Hollywood that you look up to, that you admire with this glam magic, okay, that are the opposite sex? There's so many of them, okay? I can go on and on and on, but I just want to talk about the Osborne, Ozzy, because Ozzy is a female, okay? You can obviously see it. Okay. If you don't know, now you know. Okay. I will even put the pictures up. Okay. Ozzy is higher up in the court in England. Okay. In England. Okay. He's like a minister, a magician. And how they move up in the court is they make their kids transition. They come in as a saying that they are a man, and Ozzy Osbourne is really a female. Okay, and his wife is really a man. Okay, it's all messed up, you guys. Okay, but the anonymous hackers, um, their energy is very interesting because I don't feel like it's a computer AI, but we got to understand that the computer AI is taking on human consciousness. Okay. Like for real. So they're very interesting. They need to just drop the Epstein list. I mean, if you're watching my channel, Anonymous, drop the damn Epstein list. Drop some real shit out here. Okay. Think about it. If the Anonymous group, if they wanted to, if they were hackers, they could drop so much fucking information. Okay. Why aren't they dropping it? Okay. Like the Epstein, they can drop the human trafficking rings, the dark webs. drop that shit. Okay, because many of us we want to know the truth. Okay, we want to know what's really going on. Okay, um, and if you have that information, drop it. Okay, that's what I have to say to anonymous. Okay, so if anonymous is a real group, then they need to drop the fucking information. Okay, if they're not real and computer generated AIs, because it's very interesting the energy that I was getting. Okay, I might have to go back and revisit it because I wasn't really channeling, but I was picking up something. I was picking up that, and this could be computer generated energy because I was picking up that anonymous group was all over. Okay, they're not in just one place. And when they say legions, that means they're all over the country. Okay, all over I'm not talking about America. I'm talking about America, but I'm talking about everywhere. Okay. So it could be a AI system that somebody is playing to put fear in the politicians, the president, um Elon Musk. Elon Musk was born a female. Okay. Elon Musk was not born a male. Okay. If you don't know, now you know. And how's he having these babies? Like, I'm just saying, if he was born a female, I mean, obviously, he wasn't carrying the babies, okay, that we know of, okay. And then I was like, did he have these children in laboratories? I mean, were they grown in a lab? Because that's what I was getting from his son that was um in that one video with Donald Trump, okay. And he Elon Musk um is not as smart. He's not a smart man. Okay. Well, a smart female. Okay. He's not. Okay. He steals people's ideals and runs with it and makes money off of it and profits from it. Okay. He's not smart. He's not the brain, the genius. Um, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. Was he born in a cult family? Yes, they all fucking were. Okay. Most of them are born in a cult families. Okay. But Elon Musk was not born um a man, he was born a female. And then it brings me back to his mother. His mother is not even female. His mother, the model, was born a man. Okay. So how does she give birth to Elon Musk? Okay. And then I was getting also from Elon Musk's energy that he was adopted. Okay. A orphan, a foster child. Okay. I wanted to do a video on foster children and orphans in Hollywood, but I don't have time to do all these fucking videos. Okay, I don't. Okay, I don't have time for it, and I'm not getting paid for it. Okay, it's not that I'm on my channel to get paid. Okay, because no, I have a spiritual journey, and I'm going to take that motherfucking spiritual journey. Okay, because I am not trying to come back in here. If and I've been here for we're ancient, you guys. Okay, we are ancient. When I say we're ancient, and we always talk about we don't want to come back in here, the ancient ones, the Atlanteans, the Anunnakis, they live for centuries. Okay, they live forever. Okay, some of the descendants, well, majority of the descendants of the Atlanteans are spread it out, and the Anunnakis, but they lived forever. They knew true magic. Okay, not just that they knew true magic, they were gods. I mean, literally gods. Okay, not just gods. Okay, gods. You had Hercules. You had all kinds of gods. Okay, from different mythologies. Okay, Viking mythology, Greek mythology, um, Egyptian mythology, Atlantean mythology. Okay, that's why they could name the Atlantic Ocean Atlantis. Okay, Atlantic Ocean is where the civilization of Atlantis was. Okay, it was a very, very highly advanced civilization. The descendants of the Atlanteans are still here. Okay, all these people that lived way before we did, okay? They knew true magic, okay? They were they were the magicians, they were the high priestess. That's they the magic was real. Okay, if you think of like a fantasy place, these places were the fantasy places, okay? And many people had these gifts, okay? Um but and the gods, when they talk about the gods, they were really gods, okay? This is why you have worship of planetary worship, because they're worshiping the planet where these gods originated from, okay? That's why when I was doing the video on Saturn, I'm like, why am I drawn to Saturn? There was many reasons why I was drawn to the planet Saturn, okay? Because of the energy that I was pulling from the people that I was reading on, and also what Saturn was standing for. And it's a long story, but I was drawn to Saturn, and I've never. It's interesting because seers. When we talk about seers, I'm not chosen. Okay, I'm chosen for my destiny. Okay, I'm not chosen for any of y'all destiny. Okay, and I don't like to be out here calling myself the chosen one, because what makes me different from anybody else? I just have a different calling, okay? And I know my path, and I'm going to walk my path, okay? Because I'm ancient. Like a lot of you guys are ancient, and we come from a ancient bloodlines, okay? We come from ancient civilizations, okay? Highly ancient civilizations where magic was a norm, okay? Magic, and not just magic was a norm, okay? Creatures were a norm, okay? Creatures, dragons, all that was a norm, okay? And I know I may sound crazy. But it was a norm, okay? Creatures. Okay, yes, creatures. Um they were normal to these ancient ones, okay? Um and then we have the offspring of the Nephilims, okay, that made it with the humans, okay. So it was an evolving evolution of human DNA, okay, evolution and evolving of other species DNA. And I am 100% sure that when they do take your blood, okay, they know where you come from. Okay, if you're Atlantean, if you're Anunnaki, if you're whatever else out here, they know that, okay, from your blood. That's why I said the blood is a fucking holy grail. Ashe. But yeah, you guys, yeah, when I was picking up their energy, the anonymous energy, I was picking up global energy. Okay, so it could be a computer generated system that is speaking to us, but you got to understand that AIs, the AIs, okay, are taking on a consciousness of their fucking own. Okay, the AIs. And I know this sounds crazy as fuck, but they are. Okay? Because when I was the first thing I was picking up was globally, okay, not located in one specific place. Okay. And then I was picking up one specific place that it was generated out of. Okay, the message that came out of, but I'm not going to say where I was picking up that one specific place. Okay, I'm just going to say that it sounds to me, if they really are anonymous and they really have tangible proof and receipts out here, they need to drop these motherfucking receipts. Okay. Just saying. Okay. Because they are getting, if they're getting into systems, okay, computer systems with real data, real information, okay, that can put a lot of people away. okay, that is doing some dirty shit out here. Okay. If anonymous is real and if they are a legion, okay, they need to just put the shit out, put it out here. Okay. Don't hide it from us. Um, but it's interesting. Okay. But let's go to Ivanka. So Ivanka, I was seeing Ivanka, okay, and I kept seeing a casket. Okay. This video, once again, I'm gonna repeat this, is for entertainment purposes and it's all bullshit. So I was seeing Ivanka and I was seeing like cremation, but it was weird because like, did they do a viewing and then cremate her? Like, I'm confused here. Okay. And then I was seeing her like something placed in her coffin. Okay. What I seen placed in her coffin was very interesting. And I will post that on my community board. What I seen put into her coffin. Her coffin. Okay. Um, because Ivanka comes from a family of like, I'm seeing spies and shit. Like for real. Like they were in the government. Okay. They were some kind of affiliation of some kind of a government, CIA spies. I don't know. Okay. But I don't feel like that woman fell down the damn steps. So my thing is, okay, who would kill Ivanka? Okay. And who would kill Ivanka? Okay. And who would kill her and what would be the motive to kill Ivanka Trump? Okay. The motive to kill Ivanka Trump. Does anybody know when she was murdered? Because I'm getting murdered. I am. I'm getting murdered. Um, because the connection Ivanka has that we know of is through Trump. So what does she have on Trump? Okay, to be murdered. Okay. Because I watched the video of her when she found out that Donald Trump cheated on her, and it was so raw and so real, her emotions, what she spoke. And I feel like Donald Trump would not be in the position that he is in without Ivanka. Okay, like Ivanka put him in the position that he was. And what I mean is, yes, Donald Trump was born into a family that was criminals because his dad was a fucking criminal. Okay, his dad was a white supremacist, and his dad was he was a thief. Okay, he was a thief. He stole to get what he wanted. Okay, and he had debts. Okay, like Donald Trump has debts. Okay, but what would be the motive of them murdering her? Okay, was she working for like was she getting information on Donald Trump to give to somebody? I don't feel that. I feel like she was loyal to the bone. Okay, I feel like Ivanka was loyal to the damn bone. Okay, because that interview I watched of her, it was so raw and so real. And then I watched another clip of her and she was talking about her dating life and stuff like that. I mean, she had a lot to live for, but I feel like she was Trump's advisor. Like she was his best friend. She was his ride or die. Okay. So what would be the motive to delete her, to murder her for entertainment purposes? Okay. I don't feel like she fell down the steps. I mean, some people's death is natural cause of death. But with her, and she keeps trying to come into my energy field, trying to speak to me, I feel like she has reached out to many psychics. Okay. I don't know if people did reads on her, but I feel like that she wants her story told. Okay. I don't feel like she fell down the steps. I feel like she was murdered because I keep hearing murdered. I keep hearing murdered. Okay. But the only person, the only motive of her murder will be the information that she has on Donald Trump. So, what information that she has on Donald Trump that would be so damning to his whole identity, okay, of who he is? Okay, think about that. Okay, And then also I was pulling in Hollywood, okay? You know how we see Hollywood and we see these children grow up in Hollywood and they grow up in the Hollywood families and stuff. A lot of these children that I'm seeing when I'm pulling the energy from Hollywood and like different celebrity reads that I did, because I can care two shits about celebrities. I mean, they're human. Well, some of them are. Some of them are not human. Okay. um, the energy that I was pulling, it was like these orphans, right? These foster children, right? And they would get these foster children and these orphans and raise them up like their own children, okay? And then they would raise them up as their own, like prodigies, okay? You're going to be a singer, you're going to be a dancer, okay? You're going to be in politics, okay? Just like these presidents, every president was groomed to be a president. So a lot of celebrities are groomed to be a celebrity, okay? But they are also being taken from foster homes and orphanage, okay? This is what I was picking up, okay? And then they will grow up in these families, and then they would become famous singers, famous singers, famous dancers, famous actresses, and stuff like that, okay? This is what I was picking up. And it's very interesting. Okay, very, very interesting. And then I pulled a list on how many people in Hollywood were orphaned, or even if you look up the word orphan, um, were orphaned or even from a foster system. Okay. I think it's more than that what they're listing. Okay. A lot more than what they're listing. Okay. I feel like they're getting kids out of orphanage, foster homes, raising them up, grooming them to be who they are. I'm really seeing that. Okay. I don't know if anybody else is seeing that, but I'm seeing that. Okay. What else do I want to talk about? I don't want to miss nothing. There's something else I wanted to talk about tonight. Oprah. Okay. So I did a video on Oprah Winfrey. And remember I said Oprah Winfrey was um housing she has housing centers, like places where holding centers. Okay. This is what I was seeing with Oprah, holding centers. Okay. Now I was also seeing with Oprah. Oprah likes to go to South Africa. Okay. She had that school in South Africa, and I think she has some other stuff in South Africa. The reason why she likes to go to South Africa is because there's a lot of witchcraft done in South Africa. They call them Sango, okay, Sango, okay, and there's a lot of ritualistic things that are going on in Africa, okay. I feel like Oprah Winfrey will be exposed, okay. Um, and she's hiding. Okay, I'm seeing the what's the name in front of me, the hermit. Okay, so she's hiding. Okay, and there's another place that she likes to visit a lot too. And I said it in um Malvise. Okay, Malvise. I don't know what she likes about Malvise. There's something about Malvise. I remember I seen like in Malvise, I seen like um a city underneath the water. Okay. Um she likes to go there too. Okay. I remember I did that video and I said Oprah Winfrey is in Malvise. And I looked it up like and she went to Malvise, okay? Um, she likes Malvise for some reason. It's because of that underground city. Okay. Also she likes South Africa. Okay. That's her hunting ground is South Africa. And she likes holding these children in these holding cells. Okay. Um, I mean, we obviously see what she did in Hawaii. Okay. She's also holding these Mayans, Mexican children. Okay. And I want to tell you guys something. I was just talking to my friend, and I remember the story I told you about the girl that she was at a convention, okay, and I thought she was Mayan because I could see her whole family behind her. I call her my Mayan friend. Guess what I found out, you guys? She's really my Aztec friend. And she comes from a tribe of shapeshifters. Okay. And when Native Americans tell you things, they don't tell you everything. Okay. I may come on this channel and talk about shit, but there's shit I don't talk about because there's things that are not supposed to be talked about. Okay. There's things that we do talk about and there's things we don't talk about. Okay. And it's for many reasons because we have bad and we have good. Okay. So when you see Native Americans talking about their tradition and their ways, they're telling you what they want. They're telling you some of the information. They're not telling you everything. And that goes with any indigenous tribe. Okay. They have things that they hold dear to them. Okay, that they don't discuss. And there's many reasons they don't discuss it because it's forbidden to speak about. Okay, it's not for people to know for certain reasons because they can use it for bad. Okay, but she comes from a tribe. She did a DNA test. I just did one. I said I wouldn't do one, but I did it. I will talk about my results to you guys. I already know the percentage of indigenous that I have in me is a lot. Okay. The percentage of African in me is a lot. Okay. But I just want to see what else is in my DNA. What was interesting when I got the DNA test, they have a specific test just for Native people. Okay. And I found that very interesting. Okay. They have a Pacific test for Native Americans. And I'm like, why would they have a Pacific test for Native Americans if you just send your DNA in, they can know where you're from, okay? What tribe? Because you have to know who your ancestors are to know who you truly are. And I say this to everybody. You have to know where you come from. You have to know the practices of your bloodline's ways, okay, because it activates something in you, okay. It not just activates something in you, you understand your ways through the people that came before you, okay. So it's very important to connect to your ancestral DNA, okay. Very, very important. Okay, so when I get that test results back, I will share them with you guys. I will block out my name and share them with you guys. Okay. I don't know how accurate they are. They say 99% accurate. And I was doing a read about the DNA, whatever. They were selling information because I've never ever I have friends all the time, Jen, take the DNA test, take the DNA test, take the DNA test. And I'm like, I'm not taking that shit because I know what they do with it. They sell that shit, okay, to people that need, if somebody needs somebody with a type O, type B, type AB, whatever, you know what I mean? That's easy access, okay? And it's none of their goddamn business what my DNA is, okay? But I want to know, okay? I know the tribal as far as my mom and my dad, and I know like because my mother is all black, okay, fully black, but there's some native in there, and then with my dad, there's all native and then some Spaniard, okay, and then I believe there's more in my mix in my makeup, so okay, so let me go back to my friend. So my friend we were at a convention. We were doing psychic reading. And there was a woman beside her table, right? A Caucasoid, okay? And the Caucasoid was very intimidated by her because this girl had indigenous blood, okay? That's why she was intimidated because when it comes to the spiritual, the soul, okay, the we indigenous people are more connected spiritually than the Caucasoids, okay? And it's for many different reasons, okay? So, well, she was not there alone. Okay. She was in her past life, she was what I was in my past life. We were both seers. Okay. But I kept calling her my Mayan friend. So she calls me and she says, Jen, she says, you have to do the ancestry test. And I said, why? She says, I am not Mayan, I am Aztec. But Mayan and Aztec are cousins to each other. That's what like they're family. They're in the same makeup, okay? Just like somebody commented on my page. I got so many fucking people trolling my page. I even got people like trolling my page and sending shit my way, okay? It's not going to work, okay? So she says you have to do this test because you have to truly know, okay? And the whole time I'm thinking she's Mayan, she's thinking she's Mayan, and she's Aztec. But the problem is Aztec and Mayan are from the same, they're like family. You know what I mean? But the tribe that she's from is very, very interesting. Okay. She thought she was from this one tribe, which she was. She had a little bit of DNA of that tribe. But she was like, oh my gosh, I'm from the shape shifting tribe. Okay. And if you're indigenous, you know what I'm talking about, what tribes are known for shape shifting. Okay. And the Aztec. Okay. And I was like, we all shape shift. Okay. And I know I sound crazy, but we can all shapeshift. Okay. This was a way if you go back ancient time, they shapeshift. They were doing magic. They were doing all kinds of stuff. Okay. And if you look at everybody's story from all around the world, India, Asia, um, a lot of even the Muslims, a lot of their ancient stories, even the Egyptians, a lot of Egyptians learned from the Atlanteans. Okay, they were the bloodline of the Atlanteans. Okay, but what happened was they tried to the Atlanteans. Okay, the Atlanteans, Atlantic Ocean, the Atlanteans. That build these wonderful civilizations. Okay, the Egyptians is very interesting because the Egyptians, there's pyramids everywhere. Okay. Pyramids are everywhere. The mountains that you see are pyramids. Okay. But they try to mimic what the ancient ones, the Atlanteans, built. Even we have the falling angels. With the falling angels were the Nephilims. The Nephilims were the Watchers. Okay, if you look in and I if you look in any religion, if you look in Islam, if you look in and look at anywhere in the world, everywhere in the world, everybody has the same story of Adam and Eve. Okay, it's just that their names are different. Okay, the Great Flood. Okay, the Great Flood with Moses. Okay, the Great Flood with Moses is the same story about the flood of Atlantis. Okay, they all have the same story, but they have different names to their gods or whoever they worship. Even tribal, indigenous people, like my dad's tribe. Okay, my dad's tribe. Okay, my dad's tribe is very interesting. The son. Okay, and I will tell you a story one day about people in his tribe. I told you about the chief they burned alive. Okay, there was a chief that they burned alive in my dad's tribe. But anyway, so because he denounced Christianity. They told him that he had to turn to Christianity when the Spaniards got there or whatever, and he said he's never going to turn. He'd rather go to hell than turn to Christianity, and he was burnt alive. May I say? Okay, so there's many stories, but it was very interesting because when I was doing that reading on Emily Pike, I seen one of the missing children, the missing boy. he had a symbol, and I almost started like I mean, I was almost bawling when I seen it, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that sign, that symbol that he had was also my tribal sign. Okay. And I'm like, how the heck the Navajo and Apache have the same tribal sign that I have? And they also have the same story of Grandmom Spider. Okay, we call Grandmom. They call in Navajo and Apache and the other tribes, they call it Grandmom Spider, but we just call in the Puerto Rican culture, the Spanish culture, the Arawak, Taino, Carib, they call her Granny, or they call her Grandmom. Okay, so I'm just like, we all have this story, old story. Someone's playing with my feet. We have this old story of Granny, or Grandmom Spider, okay, or Spider Grandmom, okay. The message Grandmom Spider was sending when she showed up to me was that there will be a balance, okay. The unbalance will be balance, okay. That was the message that she had for me, okay. And then she was also showing me that I was being watched and followed on my channel by hired people in the cults. Okay, she was showing me that, but I'm not going to go into too deep with that. But she was showing me their faces. And what I do is every night before I go to bed, I say to myself, Spirit, ancestors, because spirit is me, okay, my higher self. Show me what I need to see that I'm not seeing in this dimension. Okay, show me. And I'm always shown, you guys. I'm always shown. Um, so that night I said, show me what I need to see. And they show me what I need to see. Okay. Sometimes I don't see it. It might not be that night. It might be the next night. Okay. But they show me what I need to see. Okay. But she was showing me that I have occult people watching me, which I know who they are. Okay. These are people that practice um that like grow up in occult families, and they use occult knowledge or alchemy knowledge, alchemist knowledge to hurt others. Okay. Not just hurt, but murder others. Okay. So she was showing me them because they were trying to get me on the astral, and they can't get me on the astral. Okay. So she was showing me that, which it was a warning, and then she was showing me other stuff, which I was seeing it, but I'm not gonna go too deep in that. But anyway, so my friend, let me talk about my friend. I love my friend. Oh, if you're watching me, I call her my Aztec friend, because I'm not gonna say her name here. But if she's watching me, I love you, girl. So anyways, I took the test. Okay. Yes, I took the test. Okay. I will share the test with you guys, because you just spit. If some of you guys took the test, let me know. You spit, and then you put your saliva in the container, and then you wait for your test results. I think it takes like 2 weeks or something like that. But I'm very curious because I know my mom and dad's makeup. Okay. My mom is black, all black. Okay. And my father is Puerto Rican. Okay. But Puerto Ricans are mixed with Africans, Spaniards, Portuguese, um, Arawak, Taino, and Caribs. Okay. They say that Taino blood is still not here, or Tainos were not still here, or Arawaks were not here. But the highest population of Taino indigenous people are from Puerto Rico. Okay. Then you have people that are in Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Jamaica. They are also descendants of the Arawak, Taino, and Caribs. Okay. But those people are more Caribs and Arawak. The Puerto Ricans have the highest blood DNA makeup of the indigenous Taino. Okay. Because the women were taken for concubine. Okay. Because when the Spanish came, there were all men. Okay. And there's many stories about Puerto Rico. Okay, Puerto Rico, many stories, but a lot of Caribbean people. So Atlantis. Okay, so all those little islands you see out there in the Caribbean island. Okay, the Atlanteans, those people came from the Atlantean people. Okay, the ones that are out there in the Atlantic, they come from the Atlanteans. Okay, and many other places there's Atlantean DNA. Like I think it's the highest percentage. I think they can even, like when you give your DNA, they know that you come from an ancient bloodline, like a Pacific. They can tell you, like, so I think it's Morocco. Is it Morocco? I think Morocco, um, North Africa. Okay, um, but there's Atlantean blood in a lot of people. Okay, that's why some of you guys may have dreams that you are in a place, um, in water. Okay, that is the Atlantean in you, or they say the. And I don't know why people say this. I did a reading on this. Um, why you are drawn to the water, um because like even with my dad's tribe, okay, so when you're drawn to the water, you come from people of the water. Okay, so like we'll be Pacific when we say you come from people of the water. So like my dad's tribe, they navigated on water, they understood water. They're the ones that, I said this in a previous video, the name hurricane came from my father's tribe. They even have a symbol of hurricane. um but they were the people of the water. They knew the water because they were on the island, so they had to survive with water. Okay, water was their main resource. Okay, even the shells. Okay, so shells was used for a lot of things. Shells were used for divination. Shells were used for healing. Shells were used for decoration. Shells were used for for a lot of things. Um, that's why when I was young, I was always had a gift. My mom would call me special, and then my dad, he would just look at me like, okay, and ask me what numbers can he play, okay? Only one time he won, it was $600. But if I knew the numbers, I would play the numbers, okay? So, but yeah. So, anyways, so when I started reading shells, okay, so I was always drawn to the water element, in the water, okay, and it's because of my ancestral bloodline. Um, we are the water people, okay? So shells, like I said, was a main resource. We use shells for a lot of things. Okay. So, anyways, I want to talk about my friend in shape shifting. And I'm gonna delete the video of shape shifting because I was gonna do a whole video on it, but I don't got time to do a whole video on shape shifting. Okay, so shape shifting. Let's go to shape shifting. So shape shifting, um many cultures would shapeshift. Okay, it was they learned it, they knew about it, they still do it to today. Okay, shapeshifting is very real. Shapeshifting is happening all the time. Okay, um so my friend, my Aztec friend, okay, so she comes from a tribe of shapeshifters. Okay, she comes from a tribe of healers. Okay, they understood shapeshifting, they understood this knowledge, it's sacred knowledge. Okay, so when I say that we're when they say they're shape shifting, they are actually shape shifting, okay, into an animal or shape shifting into something else. So let me tell you guys a story since I'm on shape shifting. A couple days ago, okay, I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago, I you guys, I'm telling you, I can't make this shit up, okay? Um, when you come across people, okay, you're seeing the physical body, right? But are you really seeing the physical body? Okay. So I come across people all the time. Okay. I read energy. Okay. A lot of you guys out here are energy readers. You can read energy. Okay. You got to tap into it. Okay. And when you're a psychic, you really are heightened when you can read energy. Okay. So these shapeshifters, okay, I want to do a video on shapeshifting, but I'm going to do it now. So when we talk about shape shifting, we're talking about people that shape shift. They can shape shift their whole face. They can shape shift into to somebody else. They can shape shift into an animal. Okay. Um, so a couple days ago, okay, I went to the hospital. And I was at the hospital with a friend. Okay. There was a lady that came into the hospital and came into the room. Okay. Are you guys listening? Follow this story. Okay. Now, the when people come to you, right, and they start having conversations with you, okay, about politics, religion, um, spiritual shit, okay. Now, some people that do that, they know they if another psychic is around a psychic, they know they're around a psychic, okay. This woman wasn't psychic, okay. This woman was a shapeshifter, okay? And I picked it up right away. As soon as she came in the room, she was fucking shapeshift. She wasn't shape. She shapeshift before she came to the room, okay? And I knew she was a shapeshifter, okay? But she didn't come alone, okay? Some shapeshifters, they don't come alone, okay? They have a whole bunch of shapeshifters with them, okay? Yes, literally, okay? Um, so she's talking to me and I'm like looking at her like I'm not seeing what I'm really seeing. Okay. I'm seeing this woman in front of me, but she's not really who she presents herself to be. Okay. I'm in the hospital, okay, visiting somebody, and the first thing this woman talks about is spirituality. Okay. And then she asks me to look at these pictures. I mean, it was so bizarre, okay? But I knew right away that she was a shapeshifter, okay? Then she kept talking about this man, okay? I'm gonna get into this, okay? This man that she is her spiritual advisor, okay? So she's talking about this man that's her spiritual advisor, okay? So I'm like, okay, show me, can you just show me the picture? And she was like, I also want to show you a picture of this person, okay? So I'm just like, okay. So when she shows me the picture of her spiritual advisor, I'm like, that man is no spiritual advisor. Okay. If she believes that man's a spiritual advisor, she's a fucking fool. Okay. And what you're presenting to me as yourself is not really yourself. Okay. It was very interesting. And then I seen other people coming into the room. You can't see them on the physical, but I seen them on the spiritual coming into the room and at shapeshifting, okay? Right in front of my fucking eyes, okay? And if I would have told the doctor this, or my friend knows, I can see, they probably would have fucking admitted me in the hospital, okay? But I'm seeing shapeshifters in the fucking hospital. I'm like, what the fuck, okay? So shapeshifting is very real. When people talk about it, people are like, oh, that's evil, that's the demons. And no, shape shifting is fucking real, okay? It shape shifting is real. People can fucking shape shift out here, okay? A lot of people you come in contact every day in your everyday life are shapeshifters, okay? You don't know it unless you can see it, okay? They're shape shifting, okay? The person that presents herself in front of you is not the real person that's presenting themselves in front of you, okay? And this is what they do, okay? A lot of cultists, um, especially people that have studied occult knowledge, the ones that have, this is what I noticed too about people that study occult knowledge, right? Some people that study occult knowledge, the shapeshifters that can shapeshift are indigenous people, okay, can shapeshift, okay. And some African tribes can shapeshift. Okay, I've never seen a Caucasian or Caucasoid shapeshifter. Now, I did see a Caucasoid shapeshifter. Okay, I have seen that, but the ones that are Caucasoid shapeshifters, they have to learn how to become shapeshifters. Okay, the ones that are indigenous and African, they already know this knowledge. Okay, the ones that are Caucasoids, they have to learn this knowledge. Okay, through occult knowledge. Okay, because that is not their God given right to be doing that. Okay, and they just don't. That okay. So let's talk about occultists. You guys, when I see these occultists out here on these TikTok, YouTube, Instagrams, I'm about to get off of this live. I hope everybody's truly doing well this Saturday. When I see a lot of these cultists, these Caucasoid occultists, what I've been noticing about them, they are the most strangest, weirdest motherfuckers. Okay. And the reason why I say they're the most strangest, weirdest motherfuckers is because even their skin, okay? Their skin. I'm talking about the Caucasoids, okay? If y'all know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, okay? I'm not coming for nobody, okay? But I'm just saying they dress weird, okay? They dress weird as hell, okay? Not just that, not that they just dress weird. They have this weirdness about them, okay? It's like they okay, so when they study occult knowledge, okay, they have to study and study and study and study and study and study and study because it doesn't come to them naturally. For us it comes to us naturally because we know the spiritual realm. We are the spiritual realm. Okay, we are connected through our soul straight to the spiritual realm. Okay, also through our spirit to the spiritual realm. They have to practice it. They have to go to alchemy schools and all this fucking bullshit to practice it, to do occult knowledge, okay? Because they were not practicing occult knowledge, okay? The only Caucasoids that I know that have ever practiced occult knowledge were Irish Caucasoids and Viking Caucasoids, okay? Them other Caucasoids, I don't know where they never had that knowledge, okay? They weren't they didn't come from a bloodline of the only ones were the Vikings and the Irish, okay? So when I see these people come down on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm taking my channel into a whole nother direction, okay? Because there's more I want to talk about. But anyways, let me stay on this. They have to go to these schools of alchemy schools, and what you notice in their videos, the alchemists, okay? Because we're all alchemists. I'm an alchemist. You're an alchemist, okay? If you study any kind of spiritual knowledge, indigenous people are alchemists, okay? The Africans are out there alchemists, okay? Um, Now there is good and evil in anything, okay? In alchemy, there is good and evil in alchemy, okay? I am good. I am not evil. I'm not out here sacrificing motherfuckers. I'm not out here murdering motherfuckers. I'm not out here doing no crazy shit, okay? Just saying, okay? I am of the good, okay? But there, when you are an alchemist, um, you're studying spirituality. Okay, that is what alchemy means. Okay, so when you talk about shamans now, that's a whole other ball game. Shamans go, which I am a shaman, if that's what you want to say, because I can go to the higher and lower realms, as above, so below. Okay, and a lot of people don't understand. They think that is wicked and evil, but shamans go in between realms. They're shape shifting in between realms. And they're going to the higher realms and the lower realms to get information. Okay. They move like that. Okay. They shape shift like that. Okay. They go into higher realms and they go to lower realms. Okay. And they come in contact with all kinds of shapeshifters, all kinds of beings, okay, on an everyday basis, okay. And some of you guys, I mean, if you would see somebody shapeshift, it would scare the shit out of you, okay, not just scare the shit out of you. You won't even know you're in met, because sometimes shapeshifters will come into your space to get information, especially if you're very spiritual and you're talking about spiritual things that they don't want you to be talking about. You will be attacked. And you're like, why am I being attacked? Why am I being drained? Because you have these fucking shapeshifters in your energy field, and they're trying to block you from speaking. Okay. And that's what they were trying to do with my when nanny or grandmom came and talked to me. Okay. But they couldn't. Okay. Because it's not their God-given right. So shapeshifting is very real. I have did many videos of shapeshifting, why they would shapeshift to get to one place to another. That's just like a shaman. A shaman will get to one place to another. That's why they shapeshift. But the like I said, there was good and bad in everything. Okay. And the thing is, when you have good people that are shapeshifting to get to help other people to also um they also do when you go into a trance, right? You have them, you have your ancestors come through you and speak through you. Okay. There was one video I was in a trance. Okay. Fucking trance. Okay. And when I came out of it, I watched the video and I'm like, wow, their ancestors were speaking through me. Okay. And I allowed it to happen. Okay. You got to be careful with that too. This is what I'm saying. When you get into spirituality, you have to be very careful, because I have came across so many people that got into spirituality. Um, if it's paganism, Wiccan, so many people are vulnerable and they don't know, because they don't come from a bloodline of practitioners. If you don't come from a bloodline of practitioners, you should not be practicing um any kind of alchemist, or any kind of practitioner work, because you have to come from a bloodline of practitioners, and you need to know what you're getting yourself into, because when you go on your spiritual journey, like me, I'm drawn to my African spirituality and I'm drawn to my indigenous spirituality, because that is who I am, and I know thyself. Okay, I know who I am. Okay, and I'm grounded in who I am. Okay, because if you're not grounded in who you are when you are practicing as a practitioner, and you think that you are chosen, because everybody's calling themselves chosen. I'm not a chosen one. Can I repeat that? I am not a chosen one. Okay. I am on my spiritual path. Okay. You, if you're out there, you're on your spiritual path, you're on your spiritual path, but I'm not calling myself a chosen one. Okay. What happens when people call themselves chosen ones? I'm going to tell you what happens a lot of times. A lot of people start their channels and they are on their spiritual journey and they forget why they're even on their spiritual journey, and they get sidetracked. Okay. They get not just sidetracked, they get into their ego too much. Okay. And then they think they're here. Okay. And they're really not here. Okay. They forget why they even start their spiritual journey, or why they're even want to tap into their spirituality. Okay. Because when you tap into your spirituality, the first thing, you have to be humble. The second, you have to have no ego. And when I talk about ego is you can't think you're above anybody else. Okay. Because you have people that study alchemy that don't even know what they're doing, and they think they can just go put potions and stuff together, and badam, I'm an alchemist. Badam, I'm a witch. Badam, I'm this, I'm that. I mean, it's bullshit. Okay. A lot of this new age, even this old age shit is bullshit. Okay. True practitioners know what I'm talking about. Okay. So I see a lot of people that start their spiritual journey, even with me, like with me, with me and my spiritual journey, I know I've been on here for a long time. I'm about to end this live, but I have African in me. I have indigenous in me, and I have many other stuff in me through my bloodline. And I come from family on both sides of practitioners. Okay, so I know what I'm seeing out here, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but I'm here for my own spiritual journey. I'm not here for none of y'all spiritual journey. Okay. So I'm here for mine. And I'm here to help you on yours. Okay. Um, that is why I'm here. Okay. So I'm not here because I'm chosen. I'm here because I'm on my own spiritual path. Okay. Um, so anyways, it's very interesting. So my friend, she's a shapeshifter. um So, I talk about her all the time because her husband is against it. Okay. Her husband is, he has been religion lot. He has been, um, he's very religious. Okay. He's Mexican too. Okay. He's Mayan. Okay. I keep calling him Mayan, but they're Mayan. Okay. She's Aztec. I thought she was Mayan, but she's Aztec. But Aztecs are Mayans, okay? But she comes from a tribe of shapeshifters, okay? That's what they did. They healed people. That was her calling, okay? And she knows that's her calling. And I told her when she sat with me, I said, this is your calling. This is why you're supposed to be here, okay? You're not here alone. You're here with your ancestors, truly healing people, okay? And this is what you're supposed to do. You have a gift to heal, okay? And I love her so much because she doesn't pretend to be somebody she's not, okay? She is who she is. And when we became soul sisters, okay, because I don't trust anybody, okay? Nobody's my friend out here, okay? The friends that I have, I know them. That I know them, okay? I'm talking about know them, okay? I don't go out here trying to make friends, okay? um, and I felt a connection with me and her spiritually, okay? And that is probably because of the indigenous in us. And it's quite interesting. So I can't wait to find out what tribe, what else tribal I have in me, or what else do I have in me, because it's going to be very quite interesting. But she's my shape shifting sister. And she's on her spiritual journey, but her husband, and I know if she's watching me, she knows I love her. Her husband is not happy with her because he's very religious. He's been indoctrined, like brainwashed. Because so many people hide behind religion. It's crazy. And he wasn't even um the old way was we didn't have Bibles. We didn't have indigenous people wasn't carrying around Bibles. Africans wasn't carrying around Bibles. If you go to some African countries, they don't even know who half these people are in the damn Bible. Okay, I'm just saying. It's crazy. Okay, they have different names to people and they have different stories. And when you mention certain people, they're like, "Who are you talking about?" Okay, so there's good and evil and everything. So be mindful of that on your spiritual journey. And always ask to be shown what you need to be shown. Also always pray. Always pray. Okay. Um, when I say prayer doesn't, sometimes in my videos I'm like, you keep praying and praying and praying, and all this craziness has happened, but every time you level up, you're dealing with different stuff. Okay. Different um attacks. Okay. And when I say attacks is because we have people that work for um especially if you have a channel, you're talking about shit that they don't want you talking about, they're going to try to silence you. So they have these people working against you, and and it's crazy because they have Africans in Africa working against African American people. I mean, the shit is crazy. Okay. And Why would you work against your own people because you sold out for some fucking money? I mean, come on, it's crazy. Okay, it's fucking crazy. Okay, just saying. And there's a story that I seen on the news about that little girl. It's so sad that the Sango, um, the girl from South Africa, the Sango man wanted her eyes because her eyes were beautiful. Okay, so the mom sold her. I don't know if you guys heard that story about the Sango man that bought that little girl and sold her, was sold to the Sango man for her eyes. Okay, could you imagine being sold off because of your eyes? I mean, people are sold off for their skin, the melanin in their skin. I mean, she was sold off to the Sango man for her eyes. Okay. And her mom sold her off. The person that was supposed to be protecting her, loving her, sold her off for a ritual. And who else knows what happened to that girl? Okay. I don't even want to channel that energy. I mean, I can channel it, but I don't want to channel it. Okay. I have channel songos from Africa. Okay. I come from a bloodline in Africa. Okay. I know about this stuff. But like I said, there's good and evil in everything that you do out here. Okay. So you better know what you're doing before you even open some doors, because some doors you open you can't close out here. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I have seen people go crazy. I have seen other stuff. Okay. So just be mindful of that. But that was crazy when I seen but they've been doing it for that's what Nanny grandma was saying, that the unbalance will be balance. Okay. So we will go through a time of information. Okay. And the reason why we're going through this time of information is because people are not walking around sleeping. Okay. People are consciously want to spiritually wake up. Okay. Want to know the truth. Okay. Sometimes the truth is not something beautiful. Okay. And then sometimes the truth is beautiful. Okay. But that story about that Sango man that bought that little girl for her eyes. Now, he didn't just buy her for her eyes, okay? And the mom sold her off. This was in South Africa, okay? The mom sold her, I think it was for 20 something. Sold that little girl. It's so sad, you guys. But anyways, I'm going to get off of this live. Guys, comment below. I hope everybody's doing truly well. And I'm going to let you guys go, okay? Um, and when I get my results, I will share them with you guys because I'm very interested. I'm like, I want my results today, okay? Because I want to know, okay? But I never did the ancestry, the DNA, whatever, because I think it was not ancestry. There's two different ones. There's ancestry, and there's another one. I can't remember what the other one's called. I mean, you can do it privately. Like you can go to a genetic place and say, "Look, I want to get my genetics tested." Okay, but I want a consent form, like my information not to be disclosed, because legally your information is not supposed to be disclosed, but they are disclosing people's information. Okay, I'm just saying. That is why it's ancestry DNA, and what's the other one? Does anybody know? But it was interesting when I see native. They just had it one just for native. So I was like confused. Like native should just be in a regular ancestry test. Why do you just have a separate one for native? Okay. I'm confused here, because if you're native, it don't matter if you're doing a regular ancestry test, then it should show up what native tribe you're from. You shouldn't have a different native test to show your native tribe. I mean, is it in depth tests of your native DNA? I don't know, but I'm gonna figure that out and look this up because it's very interesting. And I've never ever had friends all the time say, "Jen, go try it," and I'm like, "No, I'm not trying it." But then my shapeshifting sister, she was like, "You need to take it because you're gonna be surprised." But so when I get the results, you guys, I will share them. It's very interesting. If any of you guys have done the test, let me know. But the reason why the ancestry, and there's another name. Does anybody know the other name? There's one that they stepped down. The reason why they stepped down, I did a video on that, is because they were selling and leaking people's information illegally, and that's why the CEO stepped down. Okay, she was leaking people's information um globally, okay, which is illegal to do, okay, because it's confidentiality. It shouldn't be released to different countries, different people, okay, for whatever reason. Um, but and then they can use your saliva against you. They can say, shoot, they can plant your saliva somewhere. I mean, it's just crazy, okay? So you gotta be careful of that shit too, okay? I'm just saying. All right, I'm letting you guys go. I've been on here for a very long time. I hope you guys are truly doing well out here. And I'm gonna let you guys go. Ashe. Oh, and thank you guys for being support to my channel, because without your support, I wouldn't keep going, honestly, on this channel, because I every day I feel like not deleting my videos. I'm going to keep my videos up, but I feel like it's time for me to go into another direction, and just doing my readings and my psychics, my books I want to have written and stuff like that, because that's where I really feel like going, to be honest with you guys. But you guys are the ones that keep me going every day, for real, because there's days I'm just like ready to be like, you know what, I love you guys, thank you for supporting my, and one day I will come on here and say I thank you guys for supporting my channel, but it's time for me to move on to another direction, okay, in my spiritual path, okay. But I'm also out here trying to solve murders and all kinds of stuff, okay. But I thank you guys for truly being on my page, truly being supportive, truly being understanding, and truly supporting my channel, like seriously. And by supporting my channel is being on here, listening to me. Also, I get emails, okay, the ones that send me emails, thank you. Thank you, because I get a lot of information. um there's something I wanted to say before I end my end this. I forget, but if it's important, I'll come back another day and talk about it. Okay, you guys. You guys know who you are that send me the emails about certain stuff. Thank you. But I have people on here that really care, and then I have people on here that are just watchers. Okay, you guys. All right. Ashe.